Imagine you are scrolling online, and you get a notification that makes your heart stop. Breaking: Iraqi dinar officially revalued to $3.47. Your pulse quickens. This is it. The moment you've been told to wait for by countless YouTube gurus and shadowy online forums. You click, and you're taken to a slick website with a countdown timer and bold letters promising this is your last chance to buy Iraqi dinar before you're left behind in the financial dust. It feels urgent. It feels real. But what if I told you that this exact scenario, this entire emotional roller coaster, is a meticulously crafted trap? A trap designed not by economists, but by master manipulators who prey on hope and the desperate desire for a better life. For years, the promise of the Iraqi dinar's miraculous revaluation has been the siren song of the alternative investment world, luring in thousands with the dream of turning a few $100s into a fortune overnight. The pitch is always the same: buy this exotic currency now while it's cheap, wait for the political situation to magically stabilize or for some secret international agreement to click into place, and then cash out as a millionaire. Gurus will show you complex-looking charts, quote obscure financial laws, and speak with an authority that seems unquestionable. They'll tell you about Iraq's vast oil wealth as if it's a guaranteed ticket to riches, conveniently ignoring every other factor that makes a modern economy function. They create an entire universe of intel and insider news, where every rumor, no matter how baseless, is treated as a divine signal that the big day is tomorrow. But here is the brutal, unvarnished truth that none of those sellers will ever tell you: the Iraqi dinar revaluation, as they describe it, is not an investment. It is a complete and total scam. It's a fantasy sold to the vulnerable, and today, we are going to dismantle that fantasy piece by piece with cold, hard facts. Let's start with the most fundamental lie: the idea that this revaluation is imminent or even planned. The Central Bank of Iraq has one primary goal: stability. Not wild, get-rich-quick speculation. Their official statements repeatedly emphasize maintaining the dinar's stability to support the local economy. As of late 2025, the exchange rate held steady at approximately 1,310 Iraqi dinar to $1. This isn't a rate on the verge of explosion, it's a rate demonstrating deliberate control. Look at any credible international financial institution, like the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Their forecasts for the dinar through 2026 predict more of the same: stability around that 1,310 mark. There is no secret meeting, no hidden clause, no pending announcement that these YouTube prophets have somehow uncovered that the entire global financial world has missed. The math itself exposes the absurdity. The scammers promised revaluation from 1/1,300th of a dollar to multiple dollars would represent a gain of tens of thousands of %. For that to happen, Iraq's economy wouldn't just need to improve, it would need to instantly become one of the most powerful and productive economies on earth, surpassing the likes of Germany and Japan overnight. It's a fairy tale. So why does this myth persist with such ferocity? The psychology is potent. The dinar is a low nominal value currency. For about $100, you get a thick stack of 100,000 dinar notes. That stack feels tangible, it feels significant. It tricks your brain into thinking you've acquired something of vast quantity, confusing many notes for great value. Then, the scammers plant the seed: what if each of these notes was suddenly worth $3 instead of a fraction of a penny? That mental image of multiplying your stack by thousands is intoxicating. It overrides logic. It's the same lure of the lottery, but dressed up in the false respectability of currency trading. These promoters aren't financial experts, they are master storytellers selling a fictional future. And the biggest clue is always in their actions, not their words. Ask yourself one simple question: if these gurus were so certain that tomorrow, the dinar would make them independently wealthy for life, why would they be spending their precious last hours before wealth immortality, selling you a DVD kit or a premium Telegram subscription for $49.95? The answer is because their real profit isn't in the dinar. It's in selling the dream of the dinar to you. Their business model is your hope. And that is the most important thing you must understand before we go any deeper into this rabbit hole. So, if the revaluation is a fantasy, how does this entire industry function? Who are these people selling you these colorful bundles of paper, and what is their actual game? Let's pull back the curtain. The first layer is the seller network. At the top, you have the wholesale distributors. These are the shadowy companies that buy dinar in bulk from Iraq at the official, low rate, import it, and then sell it at a massive markup to a downline of retail dealers and investment advisors. They're not betting on a revaluation. Their profit is locked in the second they sell you the currency for 20%, 30%, or even 100% more than they paid for it. They make money whether the dinar's value moves or not. Then come the retail promoters, the YouTube personalities, the seminar hosts, the friendly voice on the phone. They are the public face, the storytellers. Their job is to manufacture urgency and credibility. They'll show you videos of themselves in Iraq, standing near the central bank, as proof they have insider access. They'll host weekly intel updates filled with cryptic hints about meetings in Qatar or legislation in Washington, creating a soap opera that viewers feel they must keep watching to stay informed. This is where the community is built, a powerful tool to isolate believers from skeptical family and friends who just don't get it. Within this echo chamber, doubt is heresy, and patience is the highest virtue. The second critical piece is the product itself. When you invest in Iraqi dinar, you are not buying a digital currency pair on a regulated forex platform. You are purchasing physical banknotes. This is intentional. It introduces massive, hidden costs and risks. You have to pay for shipping, insurance, and often exorbitant authentication fees. Then, you have to securely store these notes. But the real trap is liquidity, or the complete lack thereof. Try walking into your local bank or even a major currency exchange and selling your Iraqi dinar back to them. You will be met with a blank stare or a firm no. The only primary market to sell your dinar back is often the very same dealer network that sold it to you, and they will happily buy it back at a steep discount, sometimes 30 to 40% below the rate they sold it to you. So, before any mythical revaluation, you've already lost a huge chunk of your money just in the transaction cycle. Now, let's talk about the economic reality of Iraq, which the gurus consistently distort. Yes, Iraq sits on some of the world's largest oil reserves. But an economy built on a single commodity is fragile, not inherently strong. This oil wealth argument is a classic half-truth. What they don't show you is the decades of conflict, corruption, and political instability that have prevented Iraq from building a diversified, modern economy. The government budget is almost entirely dependent on oil revenue, making the currency vulnerable to global price swings. The International Monetary Fund and World Bank consistently warn about structural issues, corruption, and the need for massive reforms before Iraq could sustain a stronger currency. Furthermore, for the dinar to revalue by thousands of %, Iraq would need to run a massive trade surplus for years, amassing foreign reserves in the hundreds of billions. Currently, it runs a deficit. The central bank's goal is to prevent the dinar from collapsing further, not to engineer a miraculous appreciation that would make Iraqi exports impossibly expensive and cripple the local economy. Think about it, if your dinar suddenly became 100 times stronger, the cost of Iraqi oil on the global market would skyrocket, and buyers would simply turn elsewhere. It would be economic suicide. Finally, let's look at the legal and regulatory warnings that scream scam. The U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, has issued explicit consumer alerts about the Iraqi dinar, stating that off-exchange foreign currency trading is very risky and warning about fraud related to exotic currencies. The Better Business Bureau is littered with complaints from people who cannot sell their dinar back or who were lied to about guaranteed buyback programs. In 2023, a major dinar dealer was sued by the CFTC for operating a fraudulent scheme, misrepresenting the investment, and charging illegal markups, a case that should have been a death knell for the industry but was quickly buried by promoters as fake news or deep state interference. This is the dark reality. You are not investing in a nation's future, you are buying a poorly liquid collectible from an unregulated dealer who profits on the spread, while being serenaded by online influencers whose entire income relies on you continuing to believe in a fairy tale. The house always wins, and in this casino, you're not even at the gaming table, you're buying overpriced chips you can only cash in at the booth that sold them to you. Now we arrive at the hardest, most human part of this story. What if you're already holding these notes? That stack of dinar in your safe isn't just paper, it's hope, it's doubt, it's the weight of a financial secret you might be carrying, maybe even embarrassment. The first step out of this trap isn't financial, it's psychological. You must give yourself permission to be wrong. The smartest people in the world admit when the facts change. The data is undeniable. The central bank isn't planning it, the IMF isn't forecasting it, and every year that passes without a revaluation while the gurus just move the goalpost is another year of proof. Those promoters are not your friends or financial saviors, they are characters in a story that pays their bills. Their entire strategy relies on you linking your identity to this investment, making it so personal that selling feels like admitting failure. But it's not a failure to walk away from a rigged game, it's the ultimate act of intelligence. So, what do you do with the dinar you have? Be brutally pragmatic. Contact the dealer who sold it to you and ask for their official buyback rate. Be prepared for a shock, the price they offer will be far lower than what you paid, exposing the hidden markup you were charged. That loss is your tuition fee and a harsh but valuable lesson about unregulated markets. Consider it the cost of getting your life and your sanity back. You can also try selling it privately through online marketplaces, but you'll be competing with an ocean of other desperate sellers and will likely take a similar loss. The goal here isn't to make money, it's to salvage what capital you can and free yourself from the mental prison of waiting for the RV. That reclaimed capital, even if it's only 60 cents on the dollar, now has a chance to do real, productive work in your life. This brings us to the most important question of all: if not the dinar, then what? If your goal is genuine wealth building, you must shift from chasing magical, overnight explosions to harnessing the most powerful, boring, and proven force in finance: compound growth. Let's do a real comparison. Imagine you took that $1,000 you spent on dinar and, instead, invested it in a low-cost, diversified S&P 500 index fund. Historically, the stock market has returned about 7% per year after inflation. That's not 100,000%. It's 7%. But here's the magic they never tell you about. In 10 years, that $1,000 could grow to around $2,000. In 20 years, to nearly $4,000. In 30 years, to over $7,600. No drama, no intel updates, no stress. You just live your life while your money quietly works for you. That is real, boring, powerful wealth creation. It's not sold by a guy on YouTube with green screen graphics, it's offered by every mainstream, regulated financial institution on the planet. Or, if you want something tangible, consider putting that money into education, a side business, or paying down high-interest debt. The return on eliminating a 20% credit card balance is immediate and guaranteed, a better investment than any exotic currency scam could ever hope to be. Finally, use this experience as armor. You now have a radar for financial nonsense. When you hear pitches for Turkish lira, Vietnamese dong, or the next secret commodity, you'll recognize the pattern, the urgent language, the us against them mentality, the complex jargon designed to confuse rather than clarify. Real investments can be explained simply. They have transparent fees, regulated markets where you can buy and sell instantly, and their value is derived from real-world productivity, not internet rumors. You are smarter now. Don't hide from this lesson, let it empower you. Your desire for a better financial future is valid and good. The scam was in the pathway they sold you, not in your goal. So, take that desire and channel it into something real. Start by hitting the pause button on any alternative investment channel and instead, subscribe to channels that teach the fundamentals of budgeting, index investing, and retirement planning. Your future self will look back on this moment not with regret over the dinar, but with gratitude that it was the wake-up call that set you on a solid path. The call to action today is simple: choose reality over fantasy. Choose the slow, steady climb over the broken elevator to nowhere. Unpack that safe, make that tough call to the dealer, and convert that paper promise into a real, actionable plan for your life. You've already done the hardest part, seeking the truth. Now, take the next step. What will you do with your reclaimed capital and your reclaimed hope? The real investment begins now.